it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, July 17th. So the moon is in Pisces all day. Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac. We are definitely looking to bring things full circle. We are looking for endings. We're looking for closure. We are looking for healing. The Piscean moon is very hypersensitive, picking up on subtle energies, very emotional. We're very compassionate, very empathetic. But again, that can take us to an extreme where we are, borderline depressed, picking up on other people's energies, especially the collective energy, which is definitely pretty thick and pretty intense right now. What we want to keep in mind is that the Piscean energy is very intuitive, very creative, very dreamy, except when it's put in a bad position. Then we get overwhelmed. Then we want to avoid. We don't want to commit to anything. We just want to bury our head in the sand. And we can definitely look to numb. We just don't want to deal with life. So we do have to watch out for the cons of this energy. But mostly we're trying to keep a very, very high vibe. There are 12 different aspects here today. 8 of them involve the moon. The moon is going to semi-square Pluto. This isn't the best kind of energy. It's actually going to trigger a lot of insecurities, a lot of paranoia, a lot of deceit and delusion. Of course, the Piscean energy, the shadow realm of that is delusion, lies, and a little bit of a paranoid disposition anyways. This Pluto energy, the god of the underworld, does tend to put us in a funk to think about the darker side of our emotions, our thoughts, our memories, our circumstances, not to necessarily paralyze us in fear, but hopefully to inspire us and motivate us to make a change, to do the inner work in our psyche, in our emotions, so that we can boss up and take a little bit of control and power back over our emotional state, over our mental state, and mostly over our physical circumstances. Now, Mercury is going to trine with Neptune, and both Mercury and Neptune are also harmonizing with the sun. We have Mercury in Cancer, which is a water sign. We have Sun in the water sign of Cancer as well. We have Neptune retrograde in Pisces in its place of power, also a water sign. So this is a lot of water, a lot of feels, a lot of intuition, a lot of cleansing. What we know to be true is that our imagination is going to run wild. Our imagination, our creativity, our intuition is just on point. We are picking up, again, the thoughts and the feelings of other people. We have to really, really stress our spiritual hygiene, our spiritual boundaries at this point to recognize what feelings, what thoughts are actually belonging to us and what belongs to other people. We are a little bit more prone to express ourselves, but we're doing it in such a way that may not make sense to other people because we can barely articulate correctly what it is that we're thinking and feeling. We really do have to go with the flow, but this is kind of like a light, fluffy vibe. We are definitely being pulled to kind of improve and grow and help and support ourselves and those around us. And we're definitely seeing life from a totally different side of the coin, from a different perspective, from a different understanding. The spiritual energy that comes through with all this water energy gives us a more, soulful understanding of the lessons of our circumstances that we're going through. And we are definitely a little bit more euphoric than normal. Again, living in La La Land, having a little bit of a dreamy state. We're definitely just kind of seeing everything, from a rose-colored glasses kind of perspective. Now, this is a great time for us to kind of wrap up some family drama. Again, Mercury is almost at its end of time in Cancer energy, as is the sun. We will be seeing those shifts move into Leo this week. And with that comes an intense want, need, and desire to provide closure and endings to certain family dramas that would have crept up through Cancer season. And this is a great time to heal. It's a great time to forgive and release that darker shadow aspect of some of the energies that get triggered and activated in us when our boundaries are tested and when our energy exchanges aren't as peaceful and balanced as we hope that they would be. Now, the moon is going to bump into Chiron, the wounded healer, in not such a nice way. This is probably going to show us the funk that is happening in our personal relationships. Chiron, being the wounded healer, is triggering and activating us so that we can feel the uncomfortability in certain emotions and thoughts and energy exchanges so that we can try to correct them. Mars is going to bump into Jupiter. So Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, even our anger, is in Taurus energy, a low and slow earth energy, trying to basically unearth a lot of the shadow elements that we are feeling, especially when it comes to us not feeling worthy enough, not feeling lovable, not feeling valued. This is highlighting for us where new foundations need to be birthed and created, especially within the relationship that we have with ourselves, the relationship that we have with others. And we're just kind of looking for a brand new foundation that's going to be a little bit more safe and secure and stable than the ones that we're currently feeling the shakiness and unsupportive nature in. Now, Mars bumping into Jupiter. Jupiter is about growth and expansion. It's about abundance and blessings and beliefs. He is pretty much at a stationary point in Aries right now because he is preparing to go retrograde at the end of this month. And all I'm going to say about this is that there is a high probability of us losing our cool. There's a high probability of us having a little bit of a tantrum. There's a high probability of us just feeling so freaking intensely, good, bad, or otherwise, that we may project this out in a way that creates a little bit of drama. So we have the frustration, the irritation coming from Mars being in this earth energy, having to go low and slow, which just goes against Mars's every single inclination that he has. Again, Mars is a fire energy, wanting to act on impulse, thinking about the consequences later, and there's not a chance in hell that this Taurus energy is going to let him do that. We have to think logically and practically about the actions that we're taking. Mars rules over actions, and so he's already a little bit frustrated that he's not able to move as fast as that he would like. Jupiter is over here magnifying, turning the volume all the way up on the frustrations that we are having, or we could get lucky. We could be very aggressively inspired and motivated to make changes. I would say that a very small group of us are going to use this energy in a positive way. Most of us will use this in a shadow aspect, but for good reason. We have to kind of be triggered and activated in order to recognize where the most growth is needed in the here and now. The moon will be sextiling, which is a positive energy, a good vibe with Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener in Taurus energy as well. This Taurus energy is, we're being illuminated to what is and what isn't working in our physical realms right now, in our physical bodies, what is or is not bringing us happiness or joy, what is not contributing to our value, to our worth, to our relationships, to our money matters, to our resources. Now, the moon sextiling Uranus in this way is great because it means that we're grasping a different perspective, a different vision. We are seeing things from a different set of eyes, the observer mentality, if you will. We are getting strong intuitive insights and a dream, a vision on what it is that we want to be doing, what it is we want to be experiencing, which is the first step in shifting the paradigm within us emotionally and mentally so that we can prepare to engage the physical form to take the actions necessary to get us away from where it is that we're at and where it is that we desire to be closer to be. Now, the moon is going to trine the true node. This is a beautiful energy because it means that we're gaining clarity. We know the next step. We know what we want to do. We know where we want to move forward. Yes, there is a little bit of clarity coming in and we are going to take a step, even if it's a baby step. The true node wants to get us on the right path in order for us to reach our fullest potential, our soul's evolution, our soul's mission, our soul's purpose. Many of us have been very uncertain on what the path forward looks like. Many of us lacking that big vision, that big dream that we have to use in order to inspire us and motivate us to push through the challenges of the here and now. Even if you don't have a clear, fine picture of what the big picture vision is or what you desire it to be, we're still gaining traction. Many of us recognizing what the next step is by recognizing what it is we want to move away from. And that in itself is progress. We have to be grateful for each step that we take, even if it's the smallest step, and especially if it gets us away from the stagnancy or some toxicity in our lives right now, if it gets us away from some of the elements that we've outgrown and closer to, unfamiliar territory where we can grow, then that is a win all around. The sun is trining Neptune. I mentioned this earlier when Mercury was trining Neptune. Well, here the sun has a direct aspect with Neptune as well. The sun, again, shines a bright light on what it is that we want to do, what it is we need to do, what it is we desire to do. In Cancer energy, we have a huge want, need, and desire to stabilize the foundation in our home and our family dynamic, in taking care of ourselves and nurturing ourselves and creating and implementing some of those boundaries that definitely have been tested. The sun with Neptune, though, is going to spotlight for us, first of all, where we're having a huge amount of creativity and intuitive insights being downloaded within us in order for us to shift our focus on where it is that we desire to be instead of where it is that we've come from. That Cancer energy kind of predisposes us to constantly be looking back in the past. But Neptune is retrograde, which means that we can't look at things past, present, or future in a way that feels good to us. We have to look at it in the way that it is. And we have to see the harsh truth, the harsh reality of it all in order for us to recognize where it is that we have to grow from here. And we're definitely getting that opportunity with both Mercury and the sun trining Neptune. That is our mental plane and our focus, our will, our determination on to coming up with creative solutions on where it is that we need to heal certain circumstances based off of the not so nice thoughts and feelings that get triggered and activated for us in order to provide them closure so that we can move on. Now, the moon is going to semi-square Mars, and this isn't going to feel good. A semi-square is a little bit of a tension, a little bit of a conflict in order for us to realize where our attention is needed, where the change is needed the most. Now, the moon in Pisces, very, very emotional, very watery, very intuitive. We could go from 0 to 60 in less than 60 seconds. And again, Mars over here, very determined, very motivated, very inspired to build something new, to create something new, to up our worth, up our value, to heal these relationships, to get a little bit more stability going on in our physical circumstances. Mars wants to know how it is that we are going to use our physical energy and action to do better. And the moon in Pisces right now, with Mars being in Taurus, they're not on the same page at all. The moon in Pisces wants to go with the flow. And this Taurus energy that Mars is in needs us to go at a very logical, practical, steady pace, stable pace, using strategy and calculated moves so that we're not wasting our time, energy, or effort. So there is a little bit of a disconnect there because the Piscean energy wants to live in la la land, and there is no other place than the here and now with Mars in this Taurus energy. The moon will be bumping into Saturn as well in such a way that would suggest that an outside trigger or an activation in our external realm is really going to remind us of the weight, of the roles, of the commitments, of the responsibilities that we have in the world, especially to other people. Now, this isn't going to bode very well because, again, the moon in Pisces wants to keep everything light and fluffy and live in la la land and kind of go with the flow and float about the day, while Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over systems and routines and foundations and roles and responsibilities, needs us to understand that just because we want to have fun doesn't mean that we don't have obligations and commitments that we still have to honor. This is definitely the Debbie Downer energy. We are going to have some conflict come up in us because what we want to do, what we desire to do, can't be done until we resolve some of these tasks, some of these chores. And again, with Saturn being retrograde in Aquarius, this is definitely the responsibilities that we have to other people, which is definitely going to put us in a funk because, we're all down for helping other people and supporting other people with the moon in Pisces, but not when it sucks the life out of us. And a lot of the tasks and chores and roles and responsibilities that Saturn is reminding us of right now are definitely not happy. They definitely don't bring joy or pleasure or fun to our lives. And that is just an automatic no for the moon in Pisces. 9:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money, moving into Cancer. If you haven't listened to the astro forecast that I put out for this particular astro event, I'm going to recommend you do so. We have a dramatic shift, of Venus being in the mental plane that Mercury rules over, now jumping down into the heart space of Cancer. And we're definitely going to get all up in our feels. We're definitely sentimental. We're definitely a little bit insecure and insensitive. And definitely check out that astro forecast so that you know what we're dealing with from now until, I believe, August 11th. The moon at this particular point in time is going to come up to meet up with, bump into, conjunct with Neptune. Now, Neptune rules over Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces, retrograde in Pisces. Let me just say that this could manifest in a couple of ways depending on where your energy is at. On the pro side, on the positive side, this could be a beautiful energy for coming up with creative solutions, for having intuitive insights, for, letting ourselves go off into imaginary land and creating a dream and a vision that's going to inspire us and motivate us to do better and to push through the obstacles and challenges that we're currently facing. It could be a very, very beautiful aspect. Now, the cons of that is that we're so freaking overwhelmed, triggered, activated, that we just want to numb, that we just want to run away, that we just want to kind of curl up in a ball and just escape life altogether. This can bring up a lot of diluted thoughts, a lot of paranoia, a lot of, not so nice thoughts and memories and feelings from the past. And, overall, it's up to us on how it is that we are going to allow this energy to manifest. We do have a lot of positive aspects kind of pushing us to stay in the pro side of this energy. And one being wrapping up the day with the moon trining the sun. So anytime that we have the moon and the sun interacting in any kind of way, it's kind of an overlap from the past to the future. And what we're left with is in the here and now, and the choices that we have in the here and now. We have the moon representing our emotions, our past, our unconscious self. We have the sun kind of illuminating for us the qualities and characteristics that we have to adopt, what it is we have to focus on in order for us to get to our dream and our vision and our goal of the future reality and future self that we want to be experiencing. So this is a trine. This is a beautiful energy. It's a blending or a harmonious aspect because, of course, the moon is a water energy in Pisces, which is a water energy. The sun is in Cancer, a water energy. This is where we get the trine. This is why everything's jiving together. And so what we kind of are doing with this particular aspect is we're bringing everything full circle. The moon in Pisces is, yes, reflecting back over all of the things that we've gone through, especially in Cancer season with the home, with the family, with the boundaries, with the self-care, the self-nurturing that we got to do. And then the sun over here in Cancer is trying to shine a bright light on the foundation that we got to get to building in order to provide ourselves with safety and security, stability, not only within our home and the family dynamics within it, but in our emotional selves as well.